Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm Tim and this is Practical Healing Foods. Today we're going to be making something that's very near and dear to my heart. My grandma used to have this recipe, this wonderful recipe for cheese soup. And she'd make it, and I can remember when I was a kid growing up, and I just enjoyed it. It's so good. However, it's not keto friendly, and so I had to come up with another recipe, and I think this one's going to be pretty close to the way hers tasted, but it's going to have a little different take to it. Now, if you look on the internet, in most recipes for cheese soup, the base is going to be like a flour type of roux type of base, and of course we got to stay away from flour because we have to stay away from flour because it's not keto friendly. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a cheese soup, and I'm going to add some things in there that's going to be keto. Everything's going to be keto friendly. Okay, so when everything's said and done, the net carbs are going to be 4 grams, fiber is going to be 1 gram, protein 13 grams, carbohydrates, that's net carbs. Net carbs is 4 grams, total carbohydrates 5 grams, and calories are going to be 292. So let's go ahead and start making this. First thing what we're going to need to do is we're going to have a pot here that's big enough to make our cheese soup in. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and turn this on. And what we're going to do, this is chopped up garlic, so you're going to need about 4 cloves of garlic, and we're going to put this in here. Okay, we're going to saute the garlic for about a minute just to get aromatic and it release its flavors and scents. So let's go ahead and do that. This recipe is pretty straightforward. It's not going to be too difficult. There's only going to be 5 ingredients in here. Now, my grandma's recipe, it didn't have flour in it, but she used Velveeta, a whole block of Velveeta, and carrots and potatoes, which the potatoes and the carrots are not super keto friendly. So that's why we're going to stay away from those. Okay, so we got that in there. All right, so now we've got some color on the garlic. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the chicken broth. Now, the chicken broth needs to be the chicken broth needs to be 3.5 cups. So there's 2 cups, and now we need to add 1.5 more. Okay, and here's 1.5 to make it total of 3.5 cups. Okay, now we're going to add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. We're going to need 4 cups of broccoli. I went ahead, instead of getting and cutting it up to make the recipe a little easier, I went ahead and got these frozen broccoli cuts from Kroger. But if you want to use fresh broccoli, go ahead and do so. That's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and just use these because they're already chopped and ready to go. So we're going to add both these bags to it. You need to have about 4 cups of broccoli. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to leave this in here. We're going to increase the heat, and we're going to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to reduce the heat and let it simmer for 10 to 20 minutes until the broccoli is tender. So it's going to be a matter of time here. So I just need to go ahead and let this do its thing, let it come up to temperature, and then we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, now that we've come to a boil, as you can see, we're boiling pretty good here. Let's go ahead and we're going to knock the heat down to a simmering. So let's take it down to about 200 degrees. Let's do 180 because it won't let me do. Well, I tell you what, let's go up to. We'll do 210 for the simmering. Now we're going to let this simmer for about 10-20 minutes. That way all this broccoli gets tender, because remember, it was frozen, so we want to make sure everything gets soft and it's good to go, okay? So we'll be back in about 20 minutes. Okay, it's been 20 minutes and we have cut this back a little bit to about 180. So now what we need to do is we need to get our immersion blender. Now if you like big chunks, you can leave it in there, but I don't recommend it because we're doing this cheese soup, so I don't want big chunks of broccoli in there. So just get your immersion blender. Okay, one thing you could do is if you do want some like bigger chunks of broccoli, but you don't want it all throughout, just pull out a few of those right before you do the immersion blender, and then you can add that, back to your soup at a later time. So now is the fun part. We can start adding the cheese. Now this is cheddar cheese, and you need 3 cups of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a half a cup at a time, and then we're going to mix it in there until it melts. But you got to keep mixing here. You don't want this getting... Just keep mixing. So really this is more like a broccoli cheese soup. Always continue stirring. Don't stop stirring. You can add different type of cheeses if you want to, but this right here is just regular cheddar cheese. See, I did leave some chunks of broccoli in there, which is fine. You just want a bunch of broccoli chunks throughout the whole entire soup. Okay, once the cheese is incorporated and melted, we're going to go ahead and shut off the power. If you're on a regular cooktop stove, go ahead and just remove it from the heat completely. Okay, I'm going to serve this up and I'll be back in a moment. Okay guys, everything is good and ready to go. So I've went ahead and added a few things of shredded cheese in there, and I even added a dollop of sour cream. Those are all optional, but let's go ahead and give this a try and see how it tastes. That is so good. You have the taste of the cheese, you have the taste of the broccoli, and then the sour cream, if you mix that in there. Delicious. You can add pepper in there, maybe a little salt if you like. Just make sure when you add salt to there, you do it afterwards, because whatever cheese you got, whatever cheese you're adding into your soup, it will add salt as well, so you don't want to get too salty. So taste it after everything's mixed up, and then add your salt and your pepper as needed. But this is a good recipe. It tastes really well. Is it as good as my grandma's recipe? Let's face it, no recipe's as good as your mom and your grandma's recipe. But this is delicious. You will enjoy it. It's healthy. It's a keto way. And it's really good, guys. So thank you so much for checking out this video. Make sure you check us out on our social media platforms. Check us out on our website. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And until next week, all right, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.